Welcome, Scorpio. I'm here with you today because what's unfolding in your life right now is too important to ignore. If you've been feeling a quiet tension under the surface, a sense that something unseen is asking for your attention, you're not imagining it. Today carries a powerful current of transformation for you. One that isn't just happening around you, but through you. The universe is gently urging you to loosen your grip on the old patterns that no longer reflect who you are becoming. It's asking you to soften your resistance to change, to open your heart just a little wider, and to trust the road ahead, even if you can't yet see where it leads. More than anything, today is about remembering that your intuition, that quiet voice inside, is your clearest guide. It has been preparing you for this very moment. As we move through this reading together, I want you to know this isn't about forcing yourself to be ready. It's about meeting yourself exactly where you are, with honesty, with kindness, and with a willingness to grow in the direction your spirit is calling you toward. A fresh wave of energy is moving into your life now, and it's touching every corner, your finances, your work, your relationships, even your sense of health and well-being. You're being asked not to chase outcomes, not to control every step, but to relax into the natural rhythm of your own evolution. To trust that even what feels confusing or uncertain is quietly working in your favor. What's coming next for you isn't random. It's part of a larger design, one that has been shaped by everything you've lived through and everything your soul still longs to become. So as we go deeper into today's message, I invite you to let your guard down a little, to listen not just with your mind, but with your heart. Because what the universe has in store for you today, it isn't just information, it's an invitation, and it begins right here. When it comes to your finances today, Scorpio, there is a noticeable shift taking place. One that may feel sudden, but is, in truth, the result of deeper changes you've been setting into motion for some time. This is not a day for fear or hesitation. The energy moving through your financial world is positive, supportive, and it's encouraging you to look beyond your usual limits. Unexpected opportunities could arise. A new project, a chance meeting, or even a small but significant piece of information that opens doors you hadn't considered before. These changes may not always announce themselves loudly. They may come quietly, disguised as simple conversations or intuitive nudges. Stay alert, and more importantly, stay open. Today's current supports boldness, but not recklessness. You're not being asked to take wild risks. You're being asked to trust your ability to recognize the right chances when they appear. Small investments, creative ideas, or even steps you take that seem minor at first could unfold into much larger rewards down the road. It's a day to allow yourself to think innovatively about how you earn, save, and spend. Let yourself explore possibilities you may have dismissed before. Sometimes prosperity doesn't come from grand gestures, but from a willingness to say yes to the new, even if it feels unfamiliar at first. Your lucky numbers for today are 3, 10, 17, 22, 44, and 75, numbers that carry vibrations of growth, alignment, and breakthrough energy. These numbers aren't magic spells, but gentle reminders that you are in sync with larger forces now, and that trust combined with thoughtful action can take you further than you imagine. As you move forward, keep in mind that this financial momentum is not isolated. It's connected to everything else unfolding in your life. The shifts in your confidence, your evolving relationships, and the way you are learning to honor your own worth without apology. Financial abundance is simply one reflection of the inner abundance you are beginning to embody. The more you trust in your ability to create and sustain your own path, the more the universe meets you halfway. And this, Scorpio, is only the beginning. In your professional life, Scorpio, the energy today points toward forward movement, a quiet but undeniable pull towards something new. Whether it comes in the form of a promotion, a fresh project, or even a complete change of direction, the momentum is there, building underneath the surface. You may notice subtle signs, a new opportunity mentioned in passing, a sudden idea that lights a fire within you, or the sense that what once fit you no longer does. These are not coincidences, they are invitations. The universe is creating space for you to step into work that feels more aligned with who you are becoming. Not just who you have been, but alongside this opportunity, there is also a call for flexibility, Today isn't about rigidly clinging to old plans. It's about allowing room for creativity, for new ideas to breathe and expand beyond what you had previously imagined possible. You are being asked to innovate, not just in your job tasks, but in the way you think about your career path itself. Where you once might have relied on certainty, today you are invited to rely on inspiration. You are not being called to follow a map. You are being asked to help draw it. And in doing so, you make room for success that looks and feels different. Success that actually fits who you are at a soul level. Inner reflection will be especially powerful now. Taking time to pause, to look honestly at what drives you and what drains you will give you invaluable clarity. Ask yourself not just where you want to go, but why. Purpose will matter more than titles or recognition now. And the more willing you are to honor your true ambitions, the easier it will be for the right opportunities to find you. What's happening today in your work life is not isolated. It is part of a larger reorganization of your energy, your focus, and your future. Trust that you don't have to have every detail figured out right now. All you need is the willingness to move with the changes, to meet the unknown, not with fear, but with curiosity. Because beyond the work you do lies the bigger story. The one where you live out your own definition of fulfillment. And that story is beginning to unfold right now. In the realm of love, Scorpio, something tender yet profound is beginning to stir. Whether you are single or already in a relationship, the energy surrounding you today speaks of a shift, a doorway opening into a deeper, more emotionally mature kind of connection. If you have felt in the past that love was elusive or complicated, today reminds you that it was never about settling. It was about growing into the version of yourself who could hold, give, and receive love with clarity and strength. What you are stepping into now is not born of longing or dependency. It is born of knowing your worth, knowing your needs, and knowing that true connection never asks you to become smaller. You may find yourself crossing paths with someone new, someone whose energy feels immediately familiar, as if they can see beyond your words and into the truth of who you are. Or if you are already with someone, you might notice the relationship shifting in subtle but meaningful ways. Conversations growing deeper, silences becoming more comfortable, a shared sense of understanding blooming where once there was uncertainty. These changes may not be loud or dramatic. They may unfold quietly in the steady warmth of trust building, one day at a time. It's important now to allow space for this evolution without rushing it. Emotional maturity means recognizing that love is not about intensity for its own sake, but about connection that nourishes rather than consumes. The past has prepared you for this. Every heartbreak, every lesson in self-respect, every moment you chose to stay true to yourself. Those experiences were not in vain. They shaped the foundation upon which this new chapter can be built. As you continue moving forward, remember that the way you love yourself sets the tone for how others will love you. The tenderness you extend inward becomes the light that draws the right souls toward you. And just like every other area of your life right now, your love life is not standing still. It is unfolding, evolving, expanding, inviting you to step into relationships that reflect not just what you want, but who you are now ready to become. What awaits you is not just affection, but understanding, recognition, and the kind of bond that strengthens you rather than asks you to compromise your truth. Trust this. Let it unfold in its own time, because what's being built now is something meant to last. In matters of health today, Scorpio, the message is clear and steady. Healing is available to you, but it begins in the small, quiet choices you make for yourself. This is not a day for grand gestures or pushing your body to its limits. Instead, it's a time for gentleness, for choosing the kind of movement, rest, and nourishment that honors where you are rather than where you think you should be. Light exercise, mindful breathing, moments of stillness. These are not just routines. They are reminders to yourself that your body and your mind are not separate from your spirit. They are the vessels through which you move in this life, and they deserve your attention, your patience, your care. The energy surrounding you today carries a strong current of healing, and it is asking you to listen more closely to your inner rhythms. Perhaps there is tension you've been ignoring, exhaustion you've brushed aside, or emotional weight you've convinced yourself you can carry a little longer. Today invites you to put those burdens down, even if just for a moment. and to create space for restoration. Healing doesn't always happen in dramatic transformations. Often it arrives quietly in a walk taken instead of another rushed hour, in a deep breath drawn when stress threatens to tighten its grip, in a decision to sleep a little more or to choose food that truly nourishes rather than just fills. What's most important now is to remember that caring for your physical body is inseparable from caring for your emotional world. Your mind, your heart, and your body are constantly communicating with one another, and when you tend to one, you tend to them all. Choosing to meditate, to stretch, to spend time in nature, or even to simply unplug from noise for a while, these are acts of realignment. They bring you back into yourself, and they remind you that you are not powerless in the face of life's pressures. You have the ability to create calm within yourself, even when the world around you feels chaotic. This focus on healing and self-care isn't just about feeling better today. It's about strengthening your foundation for the changes that are still unfolding in every other area of your life. The more you honor your need for balance now, the more resilience you build for the new opportunities, connections, and growth that are already beginning to find their way to you. Every small act of care you offer yourself today is a seed planted in the soil of your future, one that will bloom when you need it most. In the quieter spaces of your life, Scorpio, among the ties of family and friendship, there is an invitation unfolding, an opportunity to rebuild, to forgive, and to reconnect in ways that may have once seemed impossible. Today's energy leans toward healing the old fractures, not by forcing conversations or demanding resolution, but by opening yourself to honest, compassionate dialogue. There are relationships in your life that carry weight, not just because of history, but because deep down they still hold meaning. Sometimes the love remains even when the words have been lost along the way, and today offers a path to begin finding them again. This is not about revisiting old wounds just for the sake of remembering pain. It's about recognizing where misunderstanding, distance, or silence may have taken the place of connection and choosing to meet those spaces with vulnerability instead of pride. You don't have to fix everything in a single conversation. Sometimes simply reaching out, being willing to listen, or offering a simple truth from the heart can create the opening that has been needed for far too long. Your ability to be sincere, to express what is real without blame or defense, will set the tone for the healing that is ready to take root. There may be a part of you that hesitates, wondering whether it's worth it, whether the other person will meet you halfway, but today's guidance reminds you that the act of offering peace is as much for you as it is for them. It is a way of releasing yourself from old burdens, of clearing space within your heart for lighter, freer connections, whether with them or with others who will arrive in your life later. Emotional maturity asks not for perfection, but for presence. To sit with discomfort when necessary, to honor your feelings without letting them close you off from those you love. As you extend empathy outward, you simultaneously cultivate it inward. And just as the healing in your personal relationships begins with small, real moments of understanding, so too does your broader journey toward emotional wholeness. Every act of compassion, every bridge you rebuild, strengthens not only your bonds with others, but also your bond with yourself. You are not separate from the relationships you nurture. You are shaped by them, just as you shape them in return. And the more love, honesty, and patience you pour into these connections, the more firmly you step into the life that is waiting for you. One that is not weighed down by old hurts, but built on the steady ground of mutual respect and heartfelt truth. As the emotional currents around you continue to shift, Scorpio, it becomes even more important to recognize where your energy naturally harmonizes with others. Today, the cosmic alignments highlight your deep affinity with fellow water signs, particularly Cancer and Pisces. These are connections that do not require constant explanation or surface-level conversation. Instead, they offer a kind of intuitive understanding, a quiet recognition that happens beneath words, in the space where emotions flow freely and without judgment. Relationships with these signs tend to feel less like effort and more like a natural unfolding, where both sides are able to hold space for each other's vulnerabilities without fear. In the presence of Cancer and Pisces energy, you are reminded that your depth is not something to hide or tone down. It is something to share. These connections are like mirrors that reflect your own emotional richness back to you, encouraging you to stay true to the softer, more intuitive parts of yourself, even when the outer world demands hardness. Whether these relationships are romantic, platonic, or professional, They offer fertile ground for mutual growth, healing, and a sense of belonging that cannot be manufactured. They bring a kind of ease that allows your most authentic self to emerge without the constant need for defense or performance. The energy guiding you today also invites you to pay attention to the symbolic language of color, and deep indigo rises to the forefront. It is more than just a shade, it is an echo of your inner world. Deep indigo carries a resonance of mystery, of insight that runs beneath the surface, and of transformation that is born quietly, away from the spotlight. When you surround yourself with this color, whether through clothing, objects, or simply visual focus, you are reminding yourself of your own depth, your intuitive strength, and your ability to navigate change, not by force, but by flowing with it.